Hi guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome back to another episode of Workers and Resources. We're in the beautiful little town of Kioski, and it's a growing population, up at 3,000 at the moment, and probably will get up to about 3,500, and I think that's the max. As discussed last time, I think that's the max we can accommodate here without having to substantially expand our things. But I think it's a pretty cool little starter town. We've probably got a little bit of health problems at the edge here due to some pollution on this side. This side's probably okay. I don't think we're seeing any health issues on this side. So that side's got a little bit of health problems. It's a little close on this side. But other than that, just a reasonable gap. Doesn't seem to warrant too much of a problem. Yeah, this is just probably just a tad close. Thank you so much to those who have commented. I did find it quite interesting to see the speeds at which you watch my videos. So most of you seem to be watching it at the normal speed, which is quite interesting. Thank you for giving me the heads up on that. It is quite interesting to know. We do have crops available, and now crops should be steadily available over here, so that's all good. In the last episode, we started planning out the rail component over here, and one of the things that I did see in the comments, actually, is the fact that do we really need a dual line all the way up to the mine over there? And I kind of think we probably don't, at least not at first. We may find that we're going into more significant mining here, which may require us a little bit more. We may also use some of this line to drop off workers in this location and probably expand our oil and our power activities here. So that might be a cause for a slightly larger rail infrastructure plus some stations over here. And then there's been some discussions around we should have our next town or city should have port access, and I don't think that's something that can reasonably be achieved over here. It can be. We can do a little city over here, but we can't reasonably achieve port access without going further with bridges. But on the other hand, we were thinking about building in this area. I think ultimately our main port will be somewhere over here. Maybe we'll even dig this out and make this our main port on these main waterways in this location, or even down this way. To be honest, even down that way. Yeah. Anyway, but I think that's miles off, and we probably won't get there in the near future. The alternative would be to expand our road connection out this way, expand our rail connection out this way, and build a port-style town in this location. That's the other option we have, to build a port location over here. This would be a pretty reasonable port location. I don't think there's any other resources here that I can kind of remember. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing here in terms of the resources. It could be a pretty nice farmland. We could use this as farmland. Certainly that would work as farmland. Or we could build an expanded town. Yeah, potentially. You know what? Potentially coming over here, running this road. Oh, we're going into winter, which is not good. Let's just quickly see what's going on with regards to our asphalting. Yeah, it's slow going, and it's kind of what I would have expected. What I do want to do is make sure that we've got some vehicles in over here. So I'm quickly going to procure us a few snow plows. Something reasonably priced that can plow at a reasonable speed is what I'm after. So it's be this one. It's quite pricey though. Well, actually, that one plows 21, 43. Yeah, so the reasonable speed is going to be what we're after here. So it's going to be a little bit costly for us, but I think I'm going to go ahead and grab at least 2 more of them, maybe even a third. It's pricey, guys. It's pricey. Yeah, I'm going to grab a third. And what we'll say here is, guys, you are going to absolutely focus on 90% on your asphalt roads, please, so that we can get them ready to go. all powered up, and then the rest of it, forget about the mud roads, and the rest of the 10% focus on the gravel roads. That is just winter maintenance priority, is gravel roads. So I'm hoping that that means that we will, in fact, so if we do that, from a gravel road perspective, it means that they're going to, actually, to be honest, just focus on gravel roads. Let's do that, so that they at least can go to the other stuff. And the idea is that this road needs to be completely sorted out all of the time. That's the idea. What are you waiting on over here? You are waiting on asphalt and workers. Interesting that we've got all of these parked over here, which is, of course, why you shouldn't do them at 2 at a time. Lesson learned yet again. And then we can actually start planning out what our expanded road network looks like over here. We probably, I think, something like a roundabout in this location could work. But yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be disruptive if we do that. Okay, back to the quick discussion we had. I don't know if we're going to actually feasibly finish off the growing. We should have, yeah, that guy's underway. This guy's going to wait a little bit, then that one should go. I'm not sure we're going to finish it off. There's still a little bit of time before the snow hits, so that's okay. So the question was, if we were to build our next town in this location, right? Another town, probably a bit bigger than this one. Let's just double check. I'm assuming that again is just waiting on a bus to drop off some people here. Yeah, they are. There they go. Everybody's doing their thing. This is dropping quite significantly. We will have to start work on this fairly soon. Now, yeah, so if we do our town over here, I think that could lead into a port. It could be a slightly larger. Yeah, I know. Well, someone should be there ready to go straight away. Right? Underway, ready to go. Building without drinking water, which I believe is going to be dropped off there in just a minute now. Has this been assigned to anybody? Yeah, it has, but we are out of dumpers, and that's why we're struggling with it at the moment, because we're stuck over here. These guys actually have workers doing it, and this guy is waiting on asphalt. Cole. We need some asphalt to be delivered over here. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. That wasn't ideal. I really messed up with that. Construction is underway over here, quite nicely so. We are going to run out of steel for here fairly soon. Construction over here is underway as well, with a few cranes on site, and again, we can probably streamline that process over time. And we've got workers on site, but unfortunately, no. Actually, you know what? Drop that down. We don't want workers to come in that way. We want them to come and work over here. Excellent. So this is all looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do now, while I keep an eye on some of these things, I believe we should have. We only have 2 harvesters, so that harvester should come over this way, and I think we do a pretty decent job at getting our goods sorted out through here. Yeah, it's definitely. I don't think it's going to get us through winter, but it would have made a big change in certain things here. So what we can do, instead of doing the town over here, we could do the town over in this location, and then we'll obviously just have to plan out a little bit of stuff here. So let's do that. I'm gonna see how something like that would actually look. And so what we will do is we'll grab this mud road here. We'll give it a bit of a turn. Oh, actually, so if we wanted to do this, so what I'll do is let's trim that one back, and we'll do a little something like this. So if we do something like that, right, and we kind of turn this out this way, is that a reasonable approach to providing this road network? Because what we'll also need to do is then effectively get this this guy over here, and that won't quite work unless, well, yeah, no, we're going to have to make some reasonable changes to this network if we're going to do that. But we could just do this, right? And then that should be, well, then you won't actually be able to get off here. So it's an interesting one, unless we plan out a bit of a roundabout situation here, which we could do, and it might actually be quite interesting if we do something like this, whereby we build a weird little shaped roundabout. So we'll remove that so it's out of our way, and then what we'll try and do is switch off our snapping for the time being. So what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of this, right? So that you can do that, and then we'll do a little bit of this. And we can, because this is not properly built in yet, we could in fact do something like this. So this will be like a bit of a roundabout here. And there we go. So something like that could actually be a pretty reasonable little roundabout, and we could even provided a little extra piece there. But that looks pretty good, actually. So if we do that, that could be our road connection. We will then, of course, have to kind of plan out how we're going to do it on this side. But of course, we don't necessarily need most of this, and we can just continue with the one. Let's switch the snapping back on, and let's make this at least reasonably straight. Let's do that. Yeah, this is as flat as you can get it. So I'm kind of tempted to maybe give it a little bit of a turn, just create a little bit of interest in our road network here. So we'll do that so we get a little bit closer to town here, especially if we're going to go up all the way. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll have it on the edge of town, and then we'll probably do a little something like this and provide, and this could then be our port, but this could be our port city over here. And what I'll do is I will go about doing that. And so what we may do is I might trim this back just a little bit like that, and then we'll go ahead and tie that in over there, and that should be fairly reasonable. So let's get this around the corner somewhere. Come on, honestly, we'll do that, and we'll do that. We'll run you all the way around there, and we'll go in that, and that's, oh, actually that's not going to work. So we'll hug the curve there, and we'll expand this one over here. Come on, honestly, here we go. So that should do the trick. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility, and that's the kind of stuff that you do see when cities start to grow. You do see these funny things where they're trying to save on kind of demolishing stuff and rebuilding it later. But really, that seems to be a pretty reasonable connection into here. That does provide a direct connection up through here. This road could become pretty busy towards the port, at least. Equally so, that one could become quite busy, but I think this one might become really busy. But we do have a bypass around town. Over time, we do need to sort out. Now, the question is over here, we probably need at some point in the future to do something a little bit more extreme in that location. So we will have a bit of a look at that. We are seeing that underway. Excellent. Something like an interchange of sorts will probably be required over there. Is this almost done? Is this still waiting on 2.5 tons of asphalt? It still has not had the asphalt delivered over here. It's such a bummer. What I might do is I might suspend the construction for the time being, and then once that's done, I'll start it off there again. That's really unfortunate that has ended up happening. I'd rather do some of these other ones then. Still, this is still going. Have we started? Yeah, we're harvesting there. That's been cleared out. We're harvesting over here. I kind of wonder if an extra harvester and not an extra truck would have been, reduce the trucks and give an extra harvester. That might be quite useful. We should still have a fair number in there. And this one needs harvesting. I'm not sure we're going to get to that one. September, October. Yeah, probably will. Probably we will. Okay, so that's good. So now, in terms of this rail line over here, it's still underway, very slow going on some of these constructions, and I'm playing at one speed at the moment anyway. So we'll just keep an eye on that for the most part. So yes, so we'll just keep an eye on that and see what we're doing. Now, so I will use this area as the rail area. We won't be able to, I'm pretty sure, if we look at what that walking distance is, yeah, we won't be able to get walking. Well, we could get walking up to, say, here. Could we get it here? Anyway, that means we get the rail across this section of road, which is not really what I wanted to do. But to be honest, for the purposes of the rail construction, let's quickly have a look at that. So if we do rail construction, depots, railway tunnel, yeah, this is just standard stuff there for cargo. Now, so if we go to construction offices, rail construction. So rail construction, let's see what we've got going on. This is the standard one. These other two are modded ones. This uses a lot of bricks and not a lot of, yeah, we'll probably take that one, but this one looks a little bit better. Maximum number of workers is 60, that's 60. It's exactly the same. It's got slightly larger storages. So if we said we're going to do something like this, right? It's an interesting setup in terms of where all of the rail things are going, isn't it? We could get bricks directly from the brickyard. That would be quite an interesting one. But I think alternatively, what we probably should be doing is setting it up somewhere over here. That would be easier for us to get a few workers in there if we do that. And it will give us a little bit of room in terms of our stuff. Okay, so that's the one. And I think we'll probably just supply that with some vehicles. That's okay. So let's start planning this out. If we do that one over there, and we give me this little footpath. If I were to do that, is this within walking distance? If we say this one, can you walk where? It's not within walking distance. It's still too far away. It's not quite getting you where you want to go. So if we placed it down here, for instance, it might be better. That walking distance is obviously a little slower. Let's quickly have a look. Let's do the measuring. Give us a quickly grab me the measuring tool, which is over here. So if I said from there to there to there to here to there to there to there. Oops. No, come on. So something like that gives us ground distance is 380. It should actually work. And I think we still have the option to potentially trim this closer by getting another crossing through here. We could cut a fair bit out. So I think that should work. So I'm not gonna be bothered by that too much. We should be able to make that work. Of course, we need to then do some other things here as well. So let's start off by looking at probably what access we will provide here. Do we do a little bit of this, or do we do? Let's do that. That should be of interest there. That's okay. And then I think we will end up having a crossing going on here. So let's just do our standard concrete variety here. So if we do something like that as a starting point. Okay, so that's okay. So we can start building stuff there. The other thing that I thought we needed to do was have a bit of a look at our rail cargo stations. So if we wanted to do something like this, for instance, as a rail cargo station, and the other thing that we could bear in mind, is that we could actually have let's trim this back. I want to have a quick look if we do this, right? So if I trim this back all the way there, I mean, obviously we could do redo the entire thing. But if we decided to bypass it like this, in which case we would be able to do probably that. And then we could bring it over here and start unloading some stuff. If we did an aggregate unloading, did I pause the game? No, we're still running. Let's pause it for a second. If we decided to do aggregate unloading, we have the storage on this side for coal and storage on that side for the iron. So we'll need to take a little bit of a look at what we'll do over there. Yeah, so if we do it over here, we should potentially be able to get something in here for the conveyor. So if I just have a quick look here, we wanted to do, that might be a big deal though. Ultimately, I'm not sure we're going to get that to work here in any way, shape or form, really. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that unless we remove some of this road. Yeah, we may have to remove this road here to be able to get that to actually tie in. But ultimately, if we leave a bit of room there, we can ultimately come and do this over here. So let's just grab that terrain aggregate unloading. We'll see about planning it out a little bit for us. So let's just do a little something like this. I won't connect it onto anything. But ideally, we'll have a little bit of a facility here where we can unload. Or actually, we could run it straight in there. Something like that. Okay, so that's just planning. We may or may not do that. And then what I thought we'd do is we'd tie this in. I may actually trim it back a little. Let's trim it back and try that again. All the way there, all the way there. Okay, and start that again. Something like that, and then something like this. I think that's fairly reasonable. Now the question is, do we probably need a little... Certainly can't make that turn. That's going to be an enormously problematic turn. If we wanted to do turns on this side, though, we could do a pretty wide turn to sweep it back up in the other direction. And kind of to think about it, none of this needs to be two-way. Two-way can be... Two-way, we can go two-way across that way, but none of this needs to be two-way. So presumably what we can do is we can remove that section and try and do a bit of a one-way through this. And we do that and we go about tying that back in there. So something like that, for instance. And then on this side, what we do is we tie it out on that side, really. Yeah, it might be anyway, it's a little bit of a planning scheme over here. We might do a little bit more than that. Now, what I want to do as well, and let's unpause the game so things do continue at the very least. What we'll aim at doing is then do a bit of a cargo style station over here. Yeah, so let's do a little something like that over there as a planning piece, and then we want some storages over here as well. So now if we look at storage, we would like open storage, or we could do a rolling mill. These are all, yeah, okay. So we could do storages like this, which is going to cost us actually not a lot. So that's an open storage that'll store a lot of the various things that we would need for construction industry. So if we did something like this, it actually would look fairly nice if we were to potentially do a little something like this. And that also means that that facility has a room to do more in the future. Something like this, but this will give us a fair bit of storage. Now, what we don't have at this stage is anything like aggregate or things like that. So this is just all these facilities. It's just the open storage that it's taking. But do we need? We probably need the non-open storage component, which would be the warehouse component. And again, we could do a fair bit of a fairly sizable one, which actually looks exactly the same. If we flip that around and we do this one on that side, I'm actually quite keen on this. This might work. Could even do that, but I'd rather we leave a little bit of space here, and we get that done over there. That does, however, not give us the a nice access off of the highway here, or freeway, or whatever you would want to call it. We could do it on this side, but this side is then left open, so we can do some other things in this area too. And of course, we want to bypass, but I think with 4 tracks, bypass will be okay. This area is unlikely to be super busy. It's not going to be the largest component of our republic. So let's just park that here for a second. It's almost the end of September. So this could work. I'm not completely opposed to it, but alternatively, let's quickly cancel this one. Let's just clean that out. I paused it for a second there, and we go back to construction. No, storage. So we'll go back to this one. Start it off on. If we do that. I don't think that'll actually work. And then we grab the other one. Yeah, so that could work though, but it's still going to be cut off from everything. So if at the very least, I would think we'd be wanting to do it. We'd want to offset it a little bit. We'd want to offset it a little bit in order to make that work. So we can certainly have a bit of a look at that. And then what we can do is obviously these things, they need a bit of a drop-off facilities as well. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remove this one. Sorry. I'm going to grab it again and we'll move it in a little bit. So something like that, a little bit further away. Yeah, something like that. That should be good. I'm going to remove this guy. We're going to go and grab these again, and we'll offset them a little bit and provide a little bit of room for offload facilities over here. So what I'll do is I'll do a little something like this. Actually, what I do like as well is we could do something like that. That's actually a pretty good one. Like that. Yeah, that does connect. Now let's grab the next one. Now we won't want them to connect too closely over here. Actually, something like this could be okay. So let's do that. Sign that. Then what we want is a truck loading facility as well. So a road cargo station. I'm not sure if these are any good. So I'll just go with the vanilla one for the time being over here. The idea would be that we... Ooh. The idea being that we would need a little something like this to make it work. Okay, so if we do that, that actually looks pretty reasonable. Now we'll get a bit of a cargo connection through here. Yes, excellent. And I may as well just get that activated because otherwise it's going to frustrate me. Then over here, what we'll do is we'll have to have a look. What I'm thinking is we probably get ourselves a bit of a connection off there because we need a little bit of room here. And then we'll do something like this. We'll run it by that side. And what we could actually run it straight now. So we'll run that straight in there and we'll tie it in. And to be honest, I'm just going to trim this around the corner here while we run a bit of a road connection up there. We'll provide an access point. Come on. Access point something like this and like that and probably like this one. Yeah, so they'll get in and out that way. Yeah, that's something. So there we go. That could be our initial road cargo or train cargo facility. And what we'll do is we'll get these vehicles to kind of load this guy up so that we can have long-term construction working from there. Now let's see. So I'll probably end up trimming this back a little bit as it comes down here. The primary goal being to kind of do a little something like this. And we'll do a little, potentially a little something like that. And a little something like this. So that looks pretty good. We'll need to plan a bit further there. I think that should be fairly reasonably placed. And of course, what we can do is we can get these guys here. But what we'll need to do is that's a fair distance away if we want to do workers by train. But we'll have to do workers by train at some stage. And this facility here, to be honest, this could also facilitate workers by train over here. And then I may want to rethink this. If we want to do workers by train that can actually work towards all of these facilities, they all need workers, then we may need to rethink that location over there. But I'm going to park it there while we quickly have another look at what is going on with our construction over here. Is this almost done? Yes, we're on the last days of construction. That should be fairly close to done. So what we can do now is we can continue that construction and hopefully get that sorted out. And we can be very close to getting some one-ways going on. Once that's done, we'll also start moving the rest of this one. That would be good. We've got our vehicles over here, so we should be able to manage the snow a little bit. What's going on this side? Yeah, that's dropping big time. That is dropping big time, I think. Oh, this is done as well. Definitely drop off the amount of workers we've got over here. We don't have power at this stage, so what we will do is bring another power connection through here. That's been done. One more thing that I would like us to do, and this might cause a little bit of havoc, but let's quickly... this is just gravel, right? So let's just quickly finish off that gravel section as the highest priority, and we'll assign Kioski Construction to it straight away. I just want to make sure we can get that done fairly quickly, and if that's the case, we may as well do the rest of this also. So let's do the other sections here too. Gravel there and a gravel here. So none of these will work now. So let's quickly go to top priority and assign. Yeah, can't assign. And we'll go to top priority here and assign Kioski Construction straight away. So let's get those done if we can. What that means is we'll probably have to start importing a little bit of our goods. I mean, I don't mind this standing for a second. That's not the end of the world. We don't need that. The power is going to be the bigger issue. So while that is done, I'll quickly switch this over to. We'll see what this guy does, but I'll switch that over to imports now. And yeah, that should give us a reasonable thing to do there. Now we do want to bring a little bit of power over this way. So let's grab a power facility. Probably just a little something like this. Actually, and we may. Okay, let's do this and see if we can find something that works for all of these. Oh, that's beautiful. No. So over there is the one that we need to power all of these. So we'll go ahead and place that there, and then we'll bring in some power. Like this. Now, I'd like to try and keep it as clean as possible, actually. You may want to run it out that way and run it up that way. There we go, and we'll go and grab that so we can start construction on that. This guy can't get out, so we will now need to go to a position where we're going to actually start importing power. Just till we get that done, let's move over to imports. Excellent, we'll do that. How's our stuff going over here? Oh, we're actually busy moving a fair bit, and the trucks are still doing their thing to try and fill things up here, and we've got a fair bit in place there. Nice, I like that. That's pretty good. There's a bit of planning going on over here. The next town, what we can do, of course, now is divert the rail to go closer to the highway, and we'll have a bit of a connection through there. But we could also divert, obviously, the rail into town, and that'll be a pretty good thing to do. What we'll need, however, is yet another. We could do a large-scale heating facility over here, because we will have coal nearby. Yeah, we will have some coal nearby. We may have to truck it in there, but that's okay. I think that's not the end of the world to do that. And then it could run heating this way and that way. So it could work, actually. It could work. We've got multiple vehicles now stuck. And unfortunately, it's causing us a bit of a... That wasn't quite what I had in mind. So just put my oil workers line back on. And just move there, please. And just move there. And just move there. So if you move, we'll see, because the construction work still needs to happen, of course. Are we seeing stuff coming in here? We have not seen anything be delivered over here, which is super unfortunate. Do we have gravel on its way? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So that should help things out a little. That's okay. And you just go and move back to where you need to go. Excellent. Just keep going through there. Just keep going through there. Okay. That is another fair bit of stuff planned out. This should be, the roller is on the way. Yes, so we'll get close to getting that done. I'll give it a little bit of a second before I go working on the next piece there. I think we are fairly comfortable with some of this. I need this construction to be done. And then we obviously need to start constructing these things as well. So let's make a start on this construction. This is going to be important. So get the construction in here to start working on that. And then this one will need a bit of steel. It's not that much, actually. So let's make a start on that also. So let's get the construction going on. And then we'll need to start building some of these facilities at the same time. It needs some asphalt and stuff. So let's park that for a minute while we quickly get all of our resources in place here. Do we have workers on site? We won't, and we won't have workers here anytime soon. out of workers in a lot of these locations, I'm assuming. So that's all you need. Now you just need workers here, which I'm hoping you can get without getting too bogged down here. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer at the moment. That's a bit of a bummer, but we'll do that. It's okay. It's a little slow at the moment. Oh, excellent. This is done. Let's quickly have a look. We can bring in more people, of course, and I think that's probably reasonable for us. How's our unemployment? We still have a few due to low education, but there's a number now due to no workplace, which is exactly what we're after. And I think we're at a point where we're going to start looking at, there's people waiting at some of these locations. I don't mind too much if people are waiting over here because we don't want the proliferation of the alcohol addiction. What's going on over here? Let's see. What's our current influencing doing? It's kind of just maintaining the status quo. We're not actually getting any improvements to loyalty. So let's do a little bit more Soviet propaganda. Well, the question is, right? Let's forget about this, right? Let's not worry about that too much. No, don't do that. Honestly, don't do that. We'd rather make sure we're getting anti-religious propaganda. I'm not. It's no. We don't need that. I'd rather we slowly spread this influence a little bit from here. Cultural enjoyment. So forget about the cultural enjoyment. Because I believe we have a reasonable cultural enjoyment. Yeah, it's fairly reasonable, and we can do other things to sort that out. Let's leave it at that and see if we can't drive up our government loyalty a little bit. Now, over here, so we've got people moving into wherever they want to. But for the time being, let's bring in some more people from the third world. Citizens' health is very low. Yeah, that's fair enough. Let's make sure to move you on. Just want to get this done. I think we should be able to sort this out. Come on, I just need a little round of workers. Then that should be sorted out, and then we'll have to do the rest as well. I'm assuming there's some stuff coming, an appliance coming to do this, a mechanism. Yeah, there's a mechanism on its way. We need a batch of workers, and I'm assuming that's what this is. Yes, we'll get that done. We are getting workers out there, so that's good. What's going on with our harvesting? Harvesting done over here. You just need to collect all of the stuff. It's actually going pretty reasonably. We might lose a little bit, but I think this has worked quite well. Obviously, we didn't start growing at the most opportune time, so we may actually even be able to squeeze in another field here, which will be quite helpful in terms of our numbers and our supplies. Alcohol is being produced at a reasonable rate. These guys should be doing at max capacity, yeah? Yeah, absolutely, because we are trying to get a fair bit of money in there. We purchased a few vehicles. Okay, this thing's done. For the time being, let's stop that because we need to build the next component here. But I'll hold off on that just for a second. So yes, that one's done. So now we can actually start importing iron. Once we get this, we can import iron ore instead of iron, which should help us out a little bit more. This is being done. A lot of this stuff is not actually doing anything at the moment because we're not exporting any of this. And this is kind of what we could also do is we could potentially be exporting a little bit more of this if we wanted to. Anything above 80% potentially. Let's have a quick look at what those numbers would be. So we certainly have a fair bit of bricks and cement available to us. Bricks, cement, and prefab available to us. I don't think I'm going to be exporting concrete, but let's have a look at what these numbers are just all around. So if we're looking at bricks, right, we could sell bricks at 40 per ton. So 10 is 400. Wow, at 100. I mean, we're not going to get close to it. We're just going to import way more coal if that's the case. So I don't think that's a feasible option for us. If we look at prefabs, let's quickly look at prefabs. That's even less. We can sell it for even less. So to be honest, just storing it there, having it ready to go when we need it, and not importing more coal seems to be a reasonable thing for us to do at this point in time, because we'll just import more coal, have less of it available for steel if we start exporting these things. So I'd rather not, and that means more workers. I'd rather what we do is drop our workers to as low a number as we could reasonably get away with, and use workers elsewhere, potentially over here to be producing steel, and over there to be producing mechanical components, so we can make more money from it. So I think that's a much more reasonable way of doing things. I've added the more people here. We've got 3,200 now. If we have a quick look at our population, we have started to see a few escapes, but it's trended down again. Deaths is pretty high at the moment. What's going on with this? We've got a little bit of pollution. Can't visit a doctor? Who can't visit a doctor? Let's have a quick look at this. This shouldn't be an issue unless we can't visit a doctor. So it's just been over here and over there. Is this thing filled up? Oh, it is. That's exactly right. So let's up our number of doctors in here so we can try and manage that situation a little bit better. We need to monitor this all the time. If we end up running out of okay, there we go. Now hopefully we'll clear people out a little sooner. That's this kind of stuff that we need to just keep checking, and then hopefully slowly get our numbers up here. We are seeing more people dying. A traffic jam. Where? Over here on this side. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, but not beautiful. In the sense that you need to be a top priority and you need to get constructed ASAP. And we're not going to be able to get out of here because of this one-way situation. So double access is probably the right thing to do. Here comes some stuff. We don't have people here just yet. We're without a power. Oh, actually, this is built. That should be under construction, so things should start coming in this way. And then we'll have boards ready to go as well. I'm hoping we'll sort that out fairly soon. We're actually still making money even though we're importing power. And we're at the 3,200 mark. There's a lot of people that needs to improve their education. You just see that everybody can actually get there, and there's enough people working. It does seem to be the case. Yes, everybody can get to school. Can everybody get here? Yes, absolutely. We can do a little bit more research though. Do we up our numbers here a little bit? Maybe. Do we up our numbers over here? What's happening with this? This seems to be pretty reasonable. I'm not sure if that's going to make a big change very quickly, but anyway, we can up our number of workers a little bit more. I don't know. Let's leave it as is for the time being. Okay, so if we wanted to, we would need to bring in. We would need to bring. I think I could bring this a little closer, and we can try and find a little route there, and then I could potentially get another station in here. So let's quickly do that. I'm gonna, while we wait on a few other things to happen, I'm gonna trim that back just for a second. I'm going to demolish this. I'm going to remove this little pathway here because we'll do something slightly different, and we're going to go and trim this back at least a little bit to something like that. Okay, now if we go now back to rail construction would be over here somewhere. Here we go. So if we decided to do rail construction, if we do something like this, right? Place that one in there, and at the same time we needed a rail passenger for citizens. Now, probably we don't need an enormous facility here. Something like this would be quite reasonable and give us, okay, that gives us a little bit of room there. could even bring it in nice and close this way so that we can have it fairly close by to making people walk. I mean, we probably need to, yeah. Okay, we probably need that. So if we do something like this, right? And we then go back to this pathway through here. Do something like that, so we can actually get access there. We don't need lots of access. We actually do, depending on how we want to deliver stuff. Now let's go back to rail. We'll quickly pop that in. We're not pausing at the moment, are we? No. Go back to rail. We'll get that in there. And what we'll do is we'll kind of trim that back, right? And so what we're after is got a little something like this potentially to get in there. Well, let's actually trim it back all the way this way. And what we'll do is we'll see about providing... actually, we need to get it out. So let's do this. Go back. There. I wonder about getting all of this built though. No. Forget about this. We're not going to do the power just yet. We'll do that. Okay. And now the idea is that we'll... get that one to go out this way. Probably get this one in there. And then we'll need another loop of sorts to come back in here somewhere. Obviously, all of these things... I think that's quite reasonable. And then what this does need to do is it needs to provide something like... Well, that's not quite what I had in mind. Trim it back. Start it again from this side. We do this and we do that. Excellent. So that gives us the ability to bring in trains over here and then turn them around on their way out and come in. So we'll have two spots here, and all of this is then a one-way setup. So let's quickly, what we'll need to do is do a little bit of this. Turn it around. Did we want, well, we could have workers in a number of locations here. We could actually do a heating plant over here, potentially, depending on how we unload some stuff here. But then we can do a little something like this, for instance, and then we'll have to kind of bring it out. Like that, and we can then just tie this one in, something like that. So there we go. So now we've got lots of one-way loops here with some room for vehicles to store and wait and so on. And there's a lot obviously happening over here, but it should be reasonable. We should be able to put some signals in the right places over there. Okay, we've paused it for a second again. So it's the end of October. We've cleared this out. We're moving the last few tons of stuff out there, so we managed to get it all done. So what I will go ahead and do is grab a little bit of extra large field action here, because in the next time this happens, we should be able to get big fields working for us on this side. Those are small, so we can actually probably squeeze in another medium on this side too. We'll bear that in mind. We would like to assign that field over there so that we can get two big fields moving. So that should be good, and that gives us a bit of a bigger stint. So I believe we should be able to manage all of that if they start growing on time. But that's about the max I think that we can do with our vehicles and things available over here. And we'll probably run out of that pretty soon. Is this not done yet? Please, can you just get some workers over here? Is that honestly what we're struggling with still? Workers should be able to get there. Still have a traffic jam here. I can go about moving you into that direction. I can go about moving you into that direction. Oh, there's stuff that was trying to get delivered here that never ended up getting here. Now we need another batch of workers. Honestly, crazies. Yeah, just move through there. Come on, we just need a batch of workers to come and finish this off. Okay. 3,205, and look at that. What's that unemployment? Look at that unemployment. That's looking really good. So from a construction perspective, that's going to help us a lot. And these guys should have maxed out their things here. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Bump up here to 45. Bump up a little bit more to 110. Ooh, actually, 110 is not going to work there. So let's just back it down to 90 because because we need to be a little bit more aggressive with regards to our imports. No, this is pretty good. I do like what we're doing here as an initial rail section. And regardless of whether we're going to do that other town over here or not, tell me what you think in the comments of whether you believe we should be doing that town or not. Yeah, tell me what you think of that. Yes, here we go. Can we please finish this off? Excellent. That should have everything up and running again. I like it. I like it. So with that in mind, I will then start activating construction over here, please. So get Chaos keys on there. Start doing that. Now this will start moving again. Awesome. And that means we'll be able to get more power and the likes, but that should work. This should be... Oh, it's powered. It's actually powered. So we'll get workers over there, and that means... There we go. Workers on their way to these various locations. 5 here and 5 here. Are they splitting off nicely? Excellent now. Excellent. Boards are being produced. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So if we go back to Chaos Key over here and we say, where are we picking some stuff up? We'll grab boards, which we no longer need to import, which I'm loving. We'll go and grab it straight over there. And obviously, eventually we want to do way better. We'll get that one going, and I'll also want us to start work on this one. There's a fair bit of construction that needs to happen for us to get those done, and then we'll just do them one at a time so that we can up that number. This should be, yes, we bumped this one up quite nicely now, so that's awesome. Let's move, and we should be in a position where we're doing our own power again. So let's stop the import for the time being, and again, in winter, it might be a different situation. Let's go back to exports and see how that goes. It's looking reasonable, and I think with the new larger amount of workers available to us, we'll definitely see an improvement in terms of our numbers. Number of workers over there. We should get a few more in here, and hopefully that means that we'll see larger exports. And I'm quite keen to start working on this as well. I just want to think about this for a little bit. So I'll come back in the next episode to see how I'm going to deal with this. I haven't built it, so I could still turn it a little bit, to be honest. That might be a better thing to do. Try and turn it a little bit so that we can actually run it in through here, in which case this one might have to turn around. Got an electricity problem. Just double check that. That's the issue here. Yeah, no workers. Yeah, but they're on their way. They're on their way. Don't worry. Heating problem as well. Oh, it's -5. Yeah, now we need to be a little bit more careful. Yeah, we definitely need to be a bit more careful with how we do things, yeah. Cannot store boards. We do now have a big number of boards ready to go. I'm assuming this thing needs boards. Yep, there we go. And our very first built boards is going to be used to kind of get that pipe underway. But I like it. I really like it. Things are moving along nicely. It'll be a fair bit of time before we get the rail up and running, but I do like it. It's pretty reasonable, and we're going to probably run out of this crops fairly quickly through winter. So, and definitely before we can grow the next round. So, but we can still collect it from the border. Now, let's quickly have one look at our income stream for the last month, the month of October. Wasn't too rose-colored. But yeah, look at this. Our resource exports, mechanical components, look at that. Clothing, nice. Alcohol, even food. Look at this, enormous amounts of stuff going exported there. And if we go and have a look at our imports, on the other hand, that's pretty high as well. We did import power again last month, so coal, a lot of coal. So I'm hoping we can make a bit of a change there. We should be able to drop off iron fairly soon. And yeah, a little bit of food again. It's an interesting one. It's just a tad of food, and it's not a big deal. But really, we didn't import any crops. So the coal has gone up a little bit, and obviously we did a bit of power, but absolutely amazing job at we're slowly moving things down, and I'm loving the idea that we're just slowly fixing things one by one, planning out the next step and getting there. And as we run into problems with certain things, we start expanding our operation. This should be, yeah, most of the stuff is kind of there. We will have workers come in through here, which should also help us out. There's a new vehicle, that's a rail builder. This guy is dropping off workers. Oh, excellent, that's pretty good. And there's a piece of equipment arriving. Excellent, we're doing a decent job at getting stuff built in a reasonable rate at the moment, and I think it's due to a very healthy unemployment rate now. I like where our unemployment rate is at, and so that should help us out a little bit in terms of ultimately getting things done. Is this, yeah, that's improving fairly substantially. People are quite happy and quite pretty good there. Yeah, no, we have room for a lot more people, so we don't need to hire more right now, but we can over time. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please hit that like button. It's been a pretty long episode, and we're heading into winter now. Probably I'll do a bit of a time lapse in the next winter to just get us through that as quickly as we can. And then, yeah, we'll see. Maybe we can start building our rail stuff. But I first probably want to sort this out to remove iron from it and rethink some of this. And definitely our oil is super important, but I'm happy that we've got boards up and running now. It's looking good. It's looking good. And even with this, right, look at that number coming in. I think another loan, we could potentially not do another loan, but we might do one more, and I think that would be the last one. I think we'd be self-sufficient now that we've got a reasonable population, so that we can up those exports. Yeah, but anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please hit that like button. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.